Have you ever noticed how one person can quietly occupy your mind even when there is no contact at all? They are not calling you, they are not texting you, they are not physically present in your daily routine. And yet somehow they feel present inside your thoughts from morning until night. You wake up and they are the first image that comes to you. You move through your day and something small reminds you of them. At night, when everything becomes quiet, their memory grows louder. This experience can feel confusing, even overwhelming. Many people wonder if it means something mystical or destined. But before we jump to spiritual explanations, it is important to understand something very real and very human. The brain is wired to hold on to emotionally charged experiences. When someone makes us feel deeply, whether through love, excitement, comfort, disappointment, or even heartbreak, the brain forms strong neural connections around that experience. From a psychological and neurological perspective, emotion strengthens memory. When your heart reacts strongly to someone, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is linked to pleasure and reward, while oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. These chemicals help create attachment. Even if communication stops, the neural pathways that were built during that connection do not simply disappear overnight. This is why the person keeps returning to your thoughts. It is not weakness. It is not obsession by default. It is your nervous system replaying something that once felt meaningful. The brain often revisits emotional memories in an attempt to process them fully. If the connection ended suddenly or without closure, the mind may keep circling back, trying to understand what happened. There is also something called rumination, which is common in situations of emotional uncertainty. Rumination happens when the mind repeatedly replays a person, event, or conversation in an effort to find answers. It is the brain's way of trying to reduce stress. When something feels unfinished, your system does not like the lack of clarity, so it keeps bringing the person to your awareness, almost as if asking you to solve a puzzle. On a health level, this can affect sleep, focus, and even appetite. You may notice difficulty concentrating because part of your mental energy is constantly engaged elsewhere. You might feel a tightness in your chest or a subtle heaviness in your mood. These are normal stress responses when emotional attachment remains active without resolution. It is important to approach this gently. Instead of judging yourself for thinking about them, pause and ask what feeling is attached to the thought. Is it longing, regret, gratitude, hurt? The emotion behind the memory is usually more important than the memory itself. When you identify the emotion clearly, you begin to calm the nervous system. Awareness reduces intensity. In many cases, the person who lives in your thoughts represents a deeper emotional need. They may symbolize comfort, validation, excitement, or a version of yourself that felt more alive. Sometimes we are not only missing the person, we are missing how we felt when we were connected to them. This is a very human experience. It does not mean you are broken. It means your heart formed a meaningful imprint. And when the body and mind have experienced something meaningful, they do not erase it quickly. They process it slowly, carefully, sometimes silently. Understanding this is the first step toward peace. When you recognize that your thoughts are not random but rooted in emotional memory and attachment, you begin to remove the fear around them. Fear often makes the experience heavier, but awareness makes it lighter. Another important factor to consider is the concept of unfinished emotional cycles. As human beings, we are wired to seek completion. When a relationship or connection ends without clear closure, your brain does not receive the signal that the story is finished. This can keep your stress response slightly activated in the background. The body may remain in a low state of alertness, waiting for something that never arrives. This lingering activation can quietly affect your well-being. You may feel restless. You may check your phone more often than usual. You may replay old conversations and imagine new ones. This is your mind attempting to complete what feels incomplete. It is not a sign that you cannot move on. It is simply a sign that your system has not yet processed the ending. There is also a deeper emotional layer. Sometimes when someone remains in your thoughts, it reflects your own unmet needs. Perhaps you felt seen, valued, or understood in their presence. When that connection disappears, the absence highlights what you truly desire in your life. the person becomes a symbol. Your mind holds on to them because they represent something important within you. This is why constant thoughts do not always mean the other person is thinking about you. Often it is about your own internal world. Your thoughts are mirrors. They reveal what your heart is still holding. From a health perspective, it is helpful to respond to this with gentle structure. First, allow yourself limited time to reflect intentionally. Set aside a few minutes each day to journal your thoughts honestly. Write without censoring yourself. When you give the mind a safe space to process, it becomes less likely to intrude throughout the day. Second, regulate your nervous system. Simple breathing exercises can calm the stress response. Try inhaling slowly for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, and exhaling for 6 seconds. Repeat this for a few minutes. This pattern signals safety to the brain and reduces emotional intensity. Physical movement is also powerful. Walking, stretching, or light exercise releases endorphins, which improve mood and reduce repetitive thinking. The body and mind are deeply connected. When the body moves forward, the mind gradually follows. You may also notice moments when thinking about this person feels almost comforting. That is natural too. The brain sometimes revisits familiar emotional memories because familiarity feels safe, even if the memory carries pain. Recognizing this pattern helps you choose consciously whether to stay in the memory or gently shift your attention. Another key point is acceptance. The more you fight your thoughts, the stronger they can become. Resistance signals to the brain that the thought is important and possibly threatening. Instead, try acknowledging it calmly. You might say internally, I notice I am thinking about them again. That is okay. Then return your focus to the present task. Over time, this practice reduces the intensity. Thoughts lose their grip when they are not fed by fear or judgment. You begin to realize that you can carry a memory without being controlled by it. Most importantly, use this experience as information. Ask yourself what this connection taught you. Did it show you the kind of love you want? Did it reveal boundaries you need to strengthen? Did it awaken parts of yourself that had been asleep? When you shift from longing to learning, healing begins. Remember, your heart is not wrong for holding on. It simply needs clarity and care. And when you offer that to yourself, the emotional weight starts to soften. As the intensity begins to decrease, you may notice something surprising. The thoughts are still there, but they no longer control you. They pass through more gently, like clouds instead of storms. At this stage, it becomes important to shift your focus from the other person back to yourself. When someone lives constantly in your mind, it can slowly drain emotional energy. That energy belongs to you. Reclaiming it is not about forgetting them. It is about strengthening your own center. One helpful step is to reconnect with your daily routines in a mindful way. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you speak with someone, be fully present in the conversation. Mindfulness brings your nervous system into the present moment. And healing always happens in the present, not in replayed memories. Sleep also plays a critical role. Emotional processing occurs during deep sleep cycles. If you are staying up late thinking about this person, your brain does not get the full opportunity to reset. Create a calming bedtime ritual. Reduce screen time before sleep. Practice slow breathing or gentle stretching. Protecting your sleep is protecting your emotional health. If the thoughts continue to feel overwhelming, consider speaking with a counselor or therapist. There is strength in seeking support. Sometimes an outside perspective helps you untangle emotions that feel confusing on your own. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and both deserve attention. It is also helpful to remember that attachment is a natural human experience. The brain is designed to bond. When bonds are formed, they do not disappear instantly, but they do transform. With time, self-awareness, and healthy habits, the attachment shifts from sharp longing to quiet memory. You may even reach a point where you feel gratitude instead of pain. Gratitude for the lesson, gratitude for the growth, gratitude for discovering how deeply you are capable of feeling. Not every connection is meant to last forever in physical form. Some connections arrive to teach, awaken, or redirect us. Trust the process of emotional healing. The mind may take time to release what the heart once cherished, but it will release gently and gradually. You do not have to force it. Focus on becoming the healthiest version of yourself, emotionally and physically. Nourish your body with balanced meals. Move regularly. Spend time with supportive people. Fill your environment with positive influences. If this person is meant to re-enter your life, it will happen naturally, without chasing or overthinking. And if they are not, life will slowly introduce new experiences and new people who align with your growth. The space that once felt heavy will eventually feel open. In the end, when someone remains in your thoughts without communication, it is not always a sign that you must act. Sometimes it is simply a reminder that you are human, that you have loved, hoped, and connected deeply. That is not weakness, that is emotional strength. Be patient with yourself, be compassionate with your own heart. The same tenderness you once gave to that connection, give it now to yourself. With time, understanding, and gentle care, your mind will find balance again, and your heart will feel lighter.